Welcome to the Hemlock State Explorer. Today we're at the Pinnacle Overlook in Susquehannock State Park of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Perhaps one of the most scenic views of the lower Susquehanna. And that's saying a lot because there are many beautiful views, but this one is special. Typically this place is very packed on a nice day, and if I pan around to the parking lot, you'll see there's a huge lot and only one other vehicle in it. This is also adjacent to the Kelly's Run Preserve, an excellent nature preserve with many cascades and beautiful rock cliffs. So if you come here on a nice day, expect lots of company. There's even a picnic area right at the Overlook, making it even more popular. And as you can see, it really is literally a minute or two walk from the parking lot. You can almost drive up to the Overlook if you're so inclined. So even with young children or folks with limited mobility, this is a great way to enjoy the scenic views of the lower Susquehanna River. And I'm hoping we'll be able to pick out some interesting landmarks of other adventures along the way. We have the Conestoga Trail on the Lancaster County side and the Mason-Dixon Trail on the York County side, providing hikes up and down both sides of the river. And here it is on this windy, very very windy early spring morning, the Pinnacle Overlook. We'll start downstream a little bit and just pan upstream. Beautiful. Bald eagles have really made a comeback along the Susquehanna, and when we come to overlooks like this, we frequently find them, so keep a lookout. Just love the view of that river, even an island in the middle. We have some rocks on the York side. Whoa! Glorious. So we'll turn aside and walk through this picnic area. We were here not long ago on an unseasonably warm day, and this place was packed. It's good to see other folks out and enjoying the Lord's creation on a beautiful day. But it's much colder now, windy, so there's nobody else here. On a previous episode, we explored Tucquan Glen and hiked in from the Clark Nature Preserve. And on this adventure, we want to show you an alternate route where you can hike in from the Pinnacle Overlook. Take some views over here. So it's hard to see, but right about the middle of the frame you can see a dip in the cliffs, and that's Tucquan Glen. That's where we'll be heading. Over on the York side there are some scenic overlooks on the Mason-Dixon Trail. But for now we'll head down here, follow the orange Conestoga Trail. And that overlook is highly accessible, the one above we just visited, but the secret is there's actually I think an even better overlook just down here. I think you're really going to like it. Okay, we've reached a fork in the trail. The trail has entered the woods. If we turn back around, you can see just up over that hump right there is the grassy picnic area. So we've been walking in the woods just a dozen yards or so, and here the trail splits. It looks like old roads, but we're going to follow the orange blazed Conestoga Trail, and it immediately takes us to this wonderful rock outcropping. And the outcropping itself is pretty cool. I love the pines growing up through the rocks, but the views from here I think are as good, if not better, than the views from the actual Pinnacle Overlook just above us. Oh, beautiful. Make our way carefully on the rocks. Another public safety announcement. These rocks are very smooth, and don't even think about coming out here if it's not bone dry. Thankfully, it's dry today, so we're not having any kind of a problem making our way down in the rocks. And you can tell from the shadows it's morning time. Still kind of cool, hoping it warms up a little bit. But there, on the trail we're about to embark on, there are some pretty steep rocky climbs, so at least the cool weather will be nice during those difficult sections. But check this out. Isn't this wonderful? We can go right up on this final large boulder here. Okay, check out this view. You'll love it. I'll have to secure my hat before we look. I can't see it too well, but behind that pine is the Pinnacle Overlook we met. It's looking up. And we'll take a look down the Susquehanna. Isn't that amazing? Praise the Lord. And then Tucquan Glen, that's where we'll be hiking. It's a little over a mile right down to that cleft. Oh, praise the Lord. What an excellent view. Okay, well, we're going to head back up over the rocks and continue on our journey. This will be a steep, rocky slog down the side of the cliffs to Tucquan Glen. After the Pinnacle Overlook, the trail descends sharply and steeply, and we're approaching the steepest part. There's a cool rock outcropping and cliff right here. We take a look out over that. You can see we're getting closer and closer to the river. We'll take a look over the side here. Okay, very nice. Okay, we're standing on top of a bit of an overhang even. The trail runs at the bottom, then heads that direction toward Tucquan Glen. But let's go back over to the trail proper. And you can see this is a lot of just loose schist rock, which itself is fairly smooth and slippery. And this is about the steepest part of the trail. We came from up there, and ultimately up over there. You can't even see the Pinnacle Overlook from here. But I share this with you just as a caution to be careful and exercise good sense. Even on a dry day, this section can be slippery on account of just the loose leaves over the smooth rock, and even some muddy sections. Even when it's dry, portions here are muddy. We're making our way to the bottom, and actually let's turn aside then when we get to the bottom of the trail here, and you can see that rock cliff if the sun doesn't interfere with our shot. Wow, it's really windy. You can see the waves on the river. I'll cross over a small tributary here. Water just trickling down from the rocks. And then to our right, among all these May-apples that have just popped up. Usually these spring beauties are open, but they're closed, maybe on account of the shade. But that's what we were standing on top of. The rocks here are pretty cool in themselves, and helpful orange blazes guiding the way between those two tall tulip poplars. less helpful graffiti. What do you think? Take a look up. Pretty cool. And of course the cameras never do it justice. Let's back up a little bit, see if we can get a better view before it's blocked by these tulip poplars. Yeah, very cool. So the only way to enjoy the full effect is to get out here yourself. This large boulder outcropping functions as a gateway to Tucquan Glen, which is just in the ravine below. There's a cool boulder overlook right there, but on account of the trees, I wonder how much we'll be able to see. The blazes lead us up around this boulder, and the trail has been skirting private property uphill of us nearly the entire way, so just be aware of that. And this is managed by the Lancaster Conservancy, and they're very big on staying on the trails anyway, because this is a nature preserve. The trail leads us through this narrow rock passage through these boulders. All right, and then you see more of the boulder outcropping below. I laugh, and I wanted to share that with you because that was a completely unnecessary detour through the boulders. It sounds like something I would do because the trail just leads right back down here. And I mean, we were just right over there on the other side of the boulder, so it sounds like something, a trail I would make. You don't really need to go this way, but there's a really cool boulder passage to climb through. So we're gonna make the trail up through there. Oh, excuse the sun glare, but this is the passage we just climbed through. You know, there are those who are of the mindset that the more grueling and difficult and rugged something is, and the farther away it is, the better it has to be. I don't know, it depends who you ask if I'm of that mindset. But there's another passage up along these boulders here. Well, that's a cool shaped rock. Reminds me of Anvil Rock, which is probably only about 2 miles in that direction. As a fissure will jump over. Oh, cool. Okay, here's a better view of the unnecessary but fun boulder passage. Let me clip that. Let's see if there are any scenic views from up here. No. I mean, there are broken views through the trees, but once the leaves come out, it will obscure that view. Okay, you can see some cliffs. The Conestoga Trail heads up that way after it passes Tucquan Glen and travels along. You can check that out at hemlockstateexplorer.com. So this is really our back way in to Tucquan Glen from the Pinnacle Overlook. So being true to our purpose, let's head back down off of these boulders, and we'll take the blazed trail, the Conestoga Trail, down into Tucquan Glen around the boulders. After the fun boulder outcropping, the trail descends the side of the gorge to the lower Susquehanna. Here's a precipice we're standing on, giving us a preview of Tucquan Glen. Listen to those cascades. We can see some through the rhododendron. We'll continue down below. We're almost there. When we were at the rock outcropping just above us, we saw a bald eagle overhead, and I have to tell you, they've really made a comeback. In truth, almost every time we adventure along the lower Susquehanna, we see at least one or more bald eagles. In fact, over the winter when we visited Turkey Hill, which you can find at hemlockstateexplorer.com, there were 4 bald eagles just soaring around the overlook, and we were only there for a space of not more than 5 minutes. All right, the railroad is below us. You can get a smell of the pitch down below. The Glen is opening before us. It looks like we're almost there. All right, here we are where the Tucquan Creek flows into the Susquehanna River. Both are high and muddy right now. The river's muddier, more so than the creek. The creek water actually looks pretty good. Let me just draw your attention to this. If you're coming from the Clark Preserve side, you'll need to cross the creek. There's a railroad bridge here, but it's clearly marked no trespassing. Of course, people still use it, but if you want to be completely legit, you just come out off of the Pfeiffer Trail down along the bank on the other side, and then there's a shallow portion you can cross. For reference, here's a map of the Glen. But in any case, depending on which way you go, there are 3 or 4 wet crossings, so you can't explore the Glen in its entirety with dry feet. But before you visit Tucquan Glen, I strongly encourage you to check out our adventure there at hemlockstateexplorer.com because there are parking restrictions. Portions of the trail are closed, so there's really important information that you need before visiting the Glen, so you don't get here and then are disappointed because you can't go or see what you wanted to see. But we're going to take a look at these cascades before heading back up to the Pinnacle Overlook. Can you hear them in the distance? All right, let's go take a look. And here are some cascades to whet your appetite for Tucquan Glen, flowing through narrow channels in the rock and then to the Susquehanna River beyond. We've returned to the upper Pinnacle Overlook and the surrounding picnic area and park. So now you have 2 ways to get to Tucquan Glen from the Clark Preserve, which is about a 2.5 mile trek into the Glen, and from the Pinnacle Overlook here, it's about 1.1 miles. Although the way from Clark Preserve is significantly longer, I would say overall it's easier. The first descent from the Pinnacle Overlook is quite steep and rocky, and the trail undulates between boulder outcroppings and tributaries, so there isn't a whole lot of flat to the trail. But in any case, you have options now, and you can take whichever way is best for you. But before you venture to Tucquan Glen, be sure to check out our story of both this adventure and the Tucquan Glen adventure from Clark Preserve at hemlockstateexplorer.com. And until next time, we can't wait to see you on the next adventure.